Hello there again, Star Wars The Clone Wars action figure collectors. This is another action figure review. This is CHA1MAN2 here, and this time around I'm going to be reviewing the 2010 Mace Windu figure, which you see in the foreground here, and in the background you see the old 2008 version, which I have multiples of now. I have the original release. I have the one that came with the Ryloth Battle Pack, the Assault on Ryloth Battle Pack, and I have the one that came with the Rise of Boba Fett Battle Pack. So you might ask yourself, if you're a collector like me, why should I pick up this Mace Windu? If you saw it in the stores and you just looked at it, it doesn't really look like there's a whole lot of things that are different with it. You can see it does come with a soft goods comma right there. But other than that, you really can't tell any differences. Well, I'm here to tell you with this review that it's an absolute essential purchase. This is a great action figure, way 10 times better. Not even in the same league as the old Mace Windu, which was an okay figure. Not very well articulated, and it also had that action feature, which always bugs me with my figures. So, let's talk first about the accessories that he comes with. Now you will see my Mace Windu figure here is sporting his lightsaber hilt on his belt. And that is not stock with the figure. I like to fiddle with my figures and customize them and make them better than they come. And of course any Jedi that I have multiples of and I have an extra lightsaber, I will cut it, the extra lightsaber, and I will make a hilt to go on their belt, because I like to do cool poses like you see this Mace Windu here, where he's just kind of standing there with his lightsaber hilt on his belt and his hands folded behind his back. And it's actually, if you get into customizing your action figures or thinking about it, it's a really easy thing to do. Like I said, you just get an extra figure and you take their lightsaber and you take your X-Acto knife or a hand drill, or if you have a really thin Dremel with a drill bit for a Dremel, you can drill it in there. And you just get a little piece of plastic that you have lying around maybe in your box of figures that you're not using, like something like this here. This is actually a broken off piece from a hairbrush. Has to be pretty narrow, pretty small, and you just cut it and you glue it into the hole that you drug with your X-Acto knife, and then you do the same thing here with your X-Acto knife. You just drill a little hole in there, and then once your glue has dried, you don't want to do it when the glue is wet because it'll be permanently glued into his belt, you can ever so gently and gingerly put it right in there on his belt. Now, you do have to take a little bit of care when you're drilling into this figure's belt, because the soft goods comma is actually underneath the belt there. And I actually made that hole with my Dremel bit, and when I did that, it tangled up on the comma a little bit and pulled some of the fabric through, and I had to push that back through with the tip of my drill bit. But just a word to the wise, don't go too, be really careful when you're working on them. You don't want to ruin a figure. And you can do that. Now let's talk about what makes this figure so cool. He comes with a couple of accessories. Again, the hilt is not standard. I added that on. He comes with his regular lightsaber. He comes with the die that I probably have about 20 or 30 of now, and your standard Star Wars figure stand, and of course your Galactic Battle Game card there. It's a pretty cool picture of him. I really don't care about the game. I don't care for the die. The cards are kind of cool, just as something extra to collect to go along with them. But I'm more interested in just the figures. And the other accessory that comes with this Mace Windu figure here is, and I thought was one of the coolest accessories that they included, especially if you're a fan of the show, is he did come with the Jango Fett helmet. And the Jango Fett helmet is split in two with a big crack down the middle, and inside of it there is a bomb. Now I don't have that available to show you for the review, because it is, if you watched my collection video that I posted the other day, it is actually up in my display right here, and you can see young Boba Fett there with his father Jango behind him, holding, kind of looking at that Mandalorian helmet. And that was one of the main things I actually wanted to buy this figure for, was to have that helmet so I could do what you see in that display back there, and have that as part of the display, kind of just to push up my Clone Wars display a little bit and make it a little bit more referring to the show a little bit. But that helmet is really cool. It's got some really neat spider webbing on the T-slit, because you can see that it's exploded, and the bomb is actually well painted and detailed on the inside of it. But anyhow, on to the figure. This figure sports some really good articulation, which is one of the main reasons. I'm going to take this off here because it's going to fall off anyhow. Then one of the main reasons you should get it. But before we talk about that, let's compare the head sculpt. As you can see, the head sculpt is vastly improved on the 2010 figure on your right, as opposed to the 2008 sculpt. The painting is a lot different, and of course he does have the soft goods comma as well. So sculpting is a lot better on this figure, much more detailed and accurate to the show. He's got a ball hinged or ball jointed head, pretty good range of motion there. He could be able to look up and down a little bit better, but that's okay. Ball hinged shoulder, ball hinged elbow, swivel wrist, swivel waist. The big draw on this figure is that he does have ball hinged hips, and that's also why he has the soft goods comma, so you can do all kinds of really cool action poses. He's got ball hinged knee, and then this, I don't know exactly what to call this joint because it's very strange, but it's ball hinged, but it also does this pivoting action here, which is really great for your action poses because you can balance your figure really, really well by, moving down on his feet here, taking the ankle and pivoting it so that the foot sits flat on whatever surface you're posing it on, and gives your figure a lot more stability. So that's a great feature. So all in all, this is an absolutely essential purchase because the figure is great, the accessories are awesome, especially the Mandalorian helmet. I really wanted the Mandalorian helmet because if you remember last year at the end of the season, and they were promoting the Boba Fett trilogy, the Rise of Boba Fett trilogy, they did this really cool teaser trailer or spot on TV where you just kind of saw Boba Fett walking. He was backlit, and clutched in his arm he had his dad's Mandalorian helmet. And so that's kind of why I wanted to get this figure, one of the reasons, so I could have that helmet, so I could have good old Boba Fett holding it there. And anyhow, so definitely I was a little bit scared with this figure, just as a end cap to this review, because it came out in September, I believe, and there was a lot of it when he first hit the shelves. And I passed on it at first because I saw how many there were, and I figured it was going to be a peg warmer. And then about 3-4 weeks later, they were all gone, and I hadn't gotten it. And I was like, oh no, I may not get this figure, I may not see it again. And you know how they are with figures, they always re-release it, so I was a little bit worried. And then I went back to one of the local Walmarts that I frequent for action figures 2 weeks ago, and they must have had a case in the back or whatever, I don't know, because it was the only store in town that had any of them, and they had a bunch more. So I quickly scooped him up, and also the Kit Fisto, which I'm going to do a review on next, because I thought, I better get it, because again, I was so confident that he was there, and then he was gone. So if you see this figure and you're a fan of the Clone Wars show, especially anything that has to do with the bounty hunters, the rise of the bounty hunters, then get this figure. You won't be sorry. You won't be sorry. And you can toss all your other Mace Windus in the bin, and if you're a customizer like I am, you can use them for custom fodder, which is what I'm going to do. I'm thinking about some custom Jedis that maybe I can make. So that's it for this review. Until next time, may the Force be with you. Bye-bye.